Welcome back to the Gentleman Ultras paper review with me, Richard Hall. It's a sunny day, it's a good day, and the Italian papers are really happy. And why is that? Because Italian football is coming back. You can see here this quite full-on headline, should we say, from the Gazzetta dello Sport this morning. There we go, all over the front pages, and it literally says, game on. That's because the Italian authorities, the government, Spadafora and Conte have all said, okay, you can start to play again with these revised dates. So we started off with when the team's going to be back. It looks as though at the moment it could be as early as June the 13th. We thought it potentially was the 13th or 20th. They're saying this. So Serie A potentially will return on June the 20th as expected. However, Juve versus Milan in the Coppa Italia and of course Napoli versus Inter could be played as early as the 13th and 14th. Which is good news. Obviously, these parameters will look exactly as you see in the Bundesliga, behind closed doors, with lots of restrictions, of course, limiting stadiums to have I think it's within the 300 people. So, but it still means that there will be an incredible summer of football in a sense. So it says from June 20th, what a summer! 127 games in 50 days. That's quite full on, and obviously we carry on with these headlines. The Corriere dello Sport says hooray. Quite simply, I think Italy is a nation. Anyone who is watching this channel, anyone who reads anything that we write, will know completely about the passion of football in that country. Even from the outside, it's something that's just inherent in there. And so hooray is definitely, I think for everyone who loves the game, he's happy to see it back. They're also talking about Serie B will also return at some point. The playoffs and playouts, as they say, in Serie C will still go ahead, but there still will be some issues just on the timings. Tutto Sport again, okay, not as excited. I thought Tutto Sport could have done a little bit better with this, but about time. Well, it is about time, so you can give them some credit. They talk about the fact that they've got the okay from Spadafora to carry on, and talk about a couple of Italia games that will be meeting early on. So, what else have we got in the papers? Well, transfer rumours, let's start. We'll carry on with Tutto Sport here because it talks about Lautaro Martinez to Barcelona, the Inter ultimatum. This is really interesting because it could spark quite a little bit of the transfer merry-go-round, if you would. Lautaro Martinez, 111 million. Now, that release clause that he has, Piero Celio, the Inter Sporting Director, said it has to be met. There's no question about that. Now, the interesting thing is when you sometimes meet these transfer clauses, release clauses, they can be paid in instalments. Inter specifically states that 111 million needs to be paid up front, so it's unlikely that Barcelona will do so. However, there is rumours in the Gazzetta dello Sport this morning that potentially they might do just that. So if they do that, what would happen? Well, Inter at the moment, they look like they've now offloaded Mauro Icardi to Paris Saint-Germain for 70 million, or 65 million if you would in some papers. That will take place this weekend, in the sense that will be signed. So, interestingly then, Inter will potentially move for RB Leipzig's Timo Werner, saying that Liverpool potentially pulled out the race because they're not willing to pay more than 35 million euros for him. Which is strange because you would have thought that Liverpool, with the financial backing they have, would have at least been able to pay the 60 million release clause that Timo Werner has. Inter, it says here, will beat Juventus to that, and replace or even just bolster the attacking line. However, this has another knock-on effect. If Lautaro Martinez then goes, Inter are also apparently going to move for Edison Cavani. However, again, as Corriere dello Sport mentions, they're going to have to do that quite quickly. So would it be a potential situation here where Inter can end up with a forward line of Lukaku, Martinez, Cavani and Timo Werner? I find that unlikely, but even so, it does look as though Timo Werner could be very much on his way to Inter, which would be a very exciting prospect because the 24-year-old, his goal ratio for Leipzig would be fantastic, and the type of runs that he makes and the type of player it is isn't dissimilar to how Lautaro Martinez works, and so hopefully you'll be able to get a partnership with Lukaku, but also when you look at Werner's career, he has mostly played with a partner, so he would be very apt. It's very easy to adapt to Conte's two-man up front. Other things briefly before we go, it says here that interesting one for Lazio, that Simone Inzaghi is looking to Brazil for a 22-year-old highly rated for Sport Recife defender. He's looking to go there, a guy called Adrelison, who apparently is very, like I said before, very highly rated. But it's interesting to see if he can bolster their ranks. Also, it looks here as though the new offer goes in for Roma. Obviously, Roma look like they're going to be sold to the Friedkin Group, but the new offer came in. They put a 575 million offer on the table, but apparently it's 130 million less than Pallotta wants. So we can watch there, because that's no small change. So other than that, we'll just quickly flick back to